Hi, my name is Kyle, and welcome to part 9 of Neuroplasticity, part 2. And in this part, I'm going to show you how to make a brain out of clay, and I'm going to do it step by step. And if you miss any steps or you want to redo any steps, you can feel free to pause and try again. Feel free to use any colors you want. There's really no wrong way to make a brain, so be creative. And most importantly, have fun. Our first thing we're going to do is we're going to have our biggest piece is going to be the main chunk of our brain. And so I have 2 balls of clay. You kind of want them to be equal size. And all we're going to do is we're just going to very simply roll it into a ball like this. You're going to do it for both of them. So for 2, you're going to roll it into 2 balls. And you can roll it like this. And you can roll it like this. You just want to pinch it into a ball. That's fine. And the next step we're going to do is we're going to put it on the surface of the table or whatever you're using, and we're just going to flatten it out a bit so that it has a curve. And the trick here, I'll show you in a second. So we want this smooth area, and then we want the rest of it to be kind of bulky, and this will be the main part of the brain. And once you're done with that, we're going to do it to the other ball. So same thing, you're going to roll it, and when you're ready, you can put it on the table, and you just want to flatten it, and not flatten it too much, but just enough so that you get a smooth side. And then all we're going to do is we're going to join the 2 pieces together, and we can just kind of form that into the shape of a brain. And don't worry if it kind of looks funny, that is okay, because by the end of this we'll have something that looks more like a brain. So that is the first step. The next step is we're going to make this now, and then we'll add it on later, but we're going to make the brain stem. And all you're going to do is take another piece of clay, and you can start from the ball, and all you're going to do is just pinch. And the more you keep doing that, pinch and squeeze and tug, and as you do that, you're going to have something that looks like this. So this will be our brain stem, and you can make it as short or as long as you want. And the brain stem usually goes right about here, just kind of on the middle bottom part of the brain. So that will go here, and where Arlene mentioned that the amygdala, which is where we keep our fight and flight and fawn and freeze responses, that is inside the brain, but we're going to make a special part of the brain that kind of connects to the amygdala. And this will go right over here next to the brain stem. So this is what you call the little brain, or the animal brain. And this is the oldest part of the brain, and this is also the thing that connects to our amygdala. So our amygdala is inside of there, just kind of between the main part of the brain and the old brain, or the reptile brain. So to make this, all you're going to do is grab another piece of clay, and you just kind of want to roll it into a ball. And once you do that, you can leave it, and you can make some more little pieces of the same color. And all I did was flatten them out. So you can flatten them any way you like. And the idea here is this part of the brain kind of looks like it has a whole bunch of folds on it, sort of like muscles. So we're not going to do the whole thing, but we want to have the illusion of what it kind of looks like. So we're going to wrap the 2 things that we made kind of around each other, so that we have this part, which is the ball, and then we have kind of 2 flaps that kind of cover each other. And we're going to put this just right here where we said we would, so it will go there. And this is connected to the brain stem, which is also connected to the brain. And over here you see that the brain is starting to take shape. So this will be the back of the brain on this side, and this will be the front of the brain. And Arlene mentioned about the frontal lobe. So we're going to do this next, and you can make this smaller if you want. You can make the brain stem smaller. We are just doing this for art and giving you guys a chance to see the different parts of the brain. So to make the frontal lobe, I took some clay and I rolled it out into a really long snake. And we're going to give different colors to our brain. So we want the frontal cortex to be a different color, and then we're going to go from the front to the back of the brain, and we're going to make as many colors as we can. So I just rolled 4 here. You can do more or you can do less. It's up to you. But all I did was roll them out because now we're going to make that fleshy part of the brain that everybody will recognize when you see it. But just to explain this part, so the reason why I put 2 balls of clay and I stuck them together is because our brain is made up of 2 halves. So we have our right hemisphere and our left hemisphere. And either one can be whatever side you want, depends on where you're looking at this video. But our 2 halves of the brain are connected by another thing that's inside the brain. And this allows us to basically do everything. So it allows us to move, to talk, to walk, to think about math, to watch the sunset. And so that's why I did 2 separate pieces and I stuck them together. The next thing we're going to do, to make the frontal lobe, we're going to take one of our snakes and we are just going to wrap it around, and when we get a little bit down toward the brainstem, you're going to curl it back up And you're gonna keep doing that. So we kind of get this pattern that everybody will kind of recognize. When you look at a brain, it has that mushy, kind of stringy thing. And so that's what we're making here. You can go around as much or as little as you want, and you just want to wrap this around the brain. So I'm gonna make two different colors for the frontal lobe. So I'm gonna make this greenish color, and then I'm gonna make this yellow color. I'm gonna do the same thing and go around and twist and up. And because this is a frontal lobe, we want it to go to about halfway up the brain. So we don't want it to cover the whole thing. And once we get to about there, you can actually stop and you can curl it back around. So it'll look something like this. So we'll have, this is the frontal lobe that Arlene was talking about, and we have one side and the other side. The next is I'm going to take some red clay, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap around this way now. So this will be the next part of the brain, which will go all the way around and curl back and come up here, just like that. So you can use the same color or a different color, and you can go like this. And then the last part of the brain that I want to cover, which is the back part, is what Arlene mentioned as the occipital lobe. So this controls our eyes and seeing stuff. So we can go around and curve back around, and you want to do that as long as you can so that it covers the whole rest of the brain. So you notice that when you do that, you might be able to go around the sides and up and around and then again. So you can do that as many times as you can to cover the rest of the brain. Just like this. So, there you go. There's our brain. You can see frontal lobe, the occipital lobe, the middle part, the reptile brain, and the brainstem. And the amygdala is somewhere inside here, and the frontal lobe is here and here, both sides, and the occipital lobe is back here. So this will give you an idea of making a brain out of clay. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to see brains that you made. So thank you, and goodbye.